Welcome back to Imperfect Parenting. Ben and Brittney here again, doing our thing.
Yep.
I don't know. I say it every time, but it's just nice being with you. You always laugh at me, but whatever. Move on. It just is.
It is Ben's one of his favorite things to do, I think, is just to sit across from me and look at me.
There we go.
So when we film for hours, that's all he does. And
if you're watching, Brittney has like this little awkward smile sometimes. She's like, you're looking at me again.
You're just staring at me. It's a good problem to have, but it's just kind of funny. That's why he loves filming days when we do this, because it's ours.
I bring it up because I start talking. I go, oh, look, who's here?
Mm-hmm.
It's my wife.
Just me.
She's beautiful. All right. So that's not why we're here today.
No.
Last time we did this, I forgot the meme. So I'm going to start with that.
Okay.
You can help me, but I'm just saying, I just want to say that loud before I get moving.
We get too far down the road. I think this one's really funny. It's gross, but it's funny because it feels very true.
So true.
I actually had this, I mean, not quite this exact moment, but behind us driving in the cup holder, there's this rattling sound. I'm like, what? That's the Lincoln side of the car. And there's pennies and wrappers of some kind and like a toy, a little miniature toy. I don't even know what it was. And it was just hitting this cup. It was driving me nuts.
It's fine for the first 30 seconds. But after 10 minutes, you're like,
yeah,
drip, drip, drip.
It's really rough. So the meme is, there's words on top, which I'll read to you in a second. But the image is a clear glass with some water. It's about, I don't know, fourth of the way full. And at the bottom of it.
Glass is half empty.
Yep. At the bottom of it, it looks like it's a piece of paper, orange crayon, a piece of a crayon, maybe a fruit snack. Popcorn. I was going to say eggs, so it's probably popcorn. A penny, a rock. So that's what you're looking at. It's like there's this cup of half water and the rest of it is things. And it says, when a little kid takes a drink out of your water bottle, that's what you're left with. Floaters. You're left with floaters and crayons and a rock, and absolutely. There's another video I watched not very long ago. Is this guy? He said, "I know you're not supposed to eat anything that your child brings you that's brown," and he goes on to talk about what you probably would think it would be, but he smelled it. He's like, "Oh, it smells like chocolate." Okay, so he's eating it. And he goes, "What is this, honey?" And she goes, "It's Oreos that I chewed up in my mouth and spit out into my cup. I made you pudding." And he's like,
"Aw."
Moral of the story, don't ever eat anything your child gives you. But it kind of is the same thing. Your child takes a drink of your water and you now have a snack. It's gross.
Yeah, and I mean, this feels like captures parenting in a picture of...
Especially the young years.
My life is no longer my own. I'm alive for you. Even my water is for you.
Everything I have is for you.
Yes.
I love the kids Delaney's 17, and just the other day she's like, "Can I have a drink of your water?" Yep.
Of course.
I don't do that to my mother still, so I have hope that it eventually ends. But
did you?
I did. I don't now. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I know that it's going to end at some point, but it's still happening. So
I want to be there the day when you forget this conversation. And you turn to your mom and say, "Can I have a drink of your water?"
Please.
And hand it to Delaney. Delaney hands it to her child.
That's gross.
No. All right.
Anyways. So we're still going to talk about the conference and some things that happened. But you may notice if you're watching this, we have some fun things on the table that we don't normally have, which is the merch that I designed with our wonderfully skilled creative director and everything that makes us look pretty. That's Ashley. Mm-hmm. So Ashley helped me do all of this. Yeah. But we're going to get it on the website soon. So we have a hat. It says "Fight for Family," Nehemiah 4:14. I have a shirt, which I've got on right now. It's kind of an oversized shirt that says a fun little saying. Do you want to read that?
It says, "Dear parent behind me, you are the perfect parent for your child. No one could be better. You've got this. Lots of love, the parent in front of you."
Behind you? In front of you? Yes.
The parent in front of you.
Yeah.
People love this shirt.
Yes. And it's really fun because I try to give something to the dads. So I've seen a lot of dads wearing that shirt, which is great. And then I have just a black crew neck sweatshirt that says "Imperfect Parent." And then it's kind of like the how it's a dictionary description, kind of phonetically written out. It's a noun. It says pursuing connection over perfection, work in progress, running on coffee, most likely with messy hair and yoga pants. So that's the merch that we've got. It'll eventually be probably on the website for you to purchase. It's fun. So you should check it out. The Fight for Family hat is, everybody loves it. I don't know how many people I've been that saw it on the story somewhere. They're like, can I get it? Can I get it? Can I get it? It's coming. It's coming. I promise.
Yep.
Maybe while this is out, it'll be out before then. I don't know, but it's the first time us talking about it. So, but it's fun when you're in the airport or at a hotel or running around. Someone's like, I like your hat.
Numerous times. Yep.
It's I didn't want it to be obnoxious in your face. I wanted it to be subtle, but I wanted it to be obvious.
Yep.
We are for families. So that's kind of the design of all the merch
It's
from
awesome.
the conference.
So fun. There you go. So if you're not watching, go find the video and have a look.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Yeah,
We like it.
lots of fun.
Well, I mentioned in the last week when we were talking that you kind of had this charge at the end of the conference.
Mm-hmm.
And you surprised lots of us with your ending,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. But that's kind of where I want to talk about for a minute. You're calling it a 52-day challenge.
Yep.
You're lots of the way through it at this point.
It's done now at this point.
Done. Yeah, I mean you've moved through the whole thing. It is saved on Instagram. I don't understand how it works.
It's in my highlight reel.
Highlight reel. There we go.
Um,
Some cool phrase.
Yeah, because I'm so cool.
I started talking about it. I'm like, what's that called again? A little circle underneath your picture. Yeah. So 52-day challenge. If you don't want to go check it out, you could run through the whole thing and just experience Brittney leading you through just each day. But talk to us a minute about how you got there. Why 52? Why challenge? And then why the last night?
Mm-hmm. So I spoke around Nehemiah 4:14 and really the call that Nehemiah had, and he went to rebuild the walls, and my Bible kind of gives a little description. You can either complain about it or you can do something about it, and that's it. I think there's lots of complaining about how families are or kids are or parenting is, and there's lots of, we're unhappy with the culture that is pressing in on Christian families.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be a complainer or a contributor or a challenger. So I really was calling families to stand up and fight for their family and really hold the line for what gets to come in and how we prioritize our time and values, and we're equipped for this battle. And so just bringing that to life. But I wanted to end the conference with a call to action. That's my personality. I don't know if you realize this. I mean, we're fun and playful in here, but I am very intense. I have always been intense. Especially when I feel passionate about something or an injustice or something. You heard about my tie-dye dress last week. So there's a lot of injustice, and there's a lot of other things right now trying to influence the family. And I don't know how you do family. I don't know that you have to do family like how we do family. That's not the call I gave. It was really just get your focus back on your family and the intentionality of, what do you believe God has for your family? What is it that he's asking you to do for your family? How does fighting for your family look? Because, we've got a 17-year-old, a nearly 14-year-old, and an 11-year-old. So that fight looks a little bit different than if they're 2 and 4, or even 6, 7, and 10. It just looks different. So knowing what the fight is that you're meant to be in, and I'm just trying to get parents to engage and give some attention to something that we so easily get lost in the busy. But 52 came from, it took 52 days to rebuild the wall, and and they couldn't before. There's such a in the story of Nehemiah, Sanballat, he's, mocking and strategizing, and he's even calling Nehemiah out, saying like, hey, let's have a meeting, we'll be friends, we'll be cool. And Nehemiah knows the assignment, like, no, I'm not going to be distracted by this. And then Sanballat tries to, it was funny because Bill Johnson did a message the Sunday before my conference, and he talked about Nehemiah, and I was laughing listening to it because I didn't hear it until after I did my conference, and I think you sent it to me, and I just thought there's such a call for family, and so that verse 4:14, it says, fight for your families, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your homes, and that's, Nehemiah knew the assignment, and he rallied them in families and put them at the wall. And we talk a lot about this verse in our culture creed. But he rallied them because he knew if I could get you to see what you were fighting for, it changes the game. And so by putting your family as, that's what you're fighting for, it ignites something different.
Yeah. So good. I don't know that I ever noticed the 52 days till you said it, or the significance in comparison to how many years was it? Do you remember?
A long time.
I'm going to say 70 something. But
they
long,
just kept,
long time.
Couldn't figure it out.
They just could not rebuild the wall till someone finally came in and said, we have one focus. And there's so many things in today's life, as we were talking, I was thinking about this, there's so many things vying for our attention. And vying for our attention to get us away from being attentive to family and this call. And, when we first started talking about Nehemiah in relation to the culture creed, it really was that there's a unique call on every family. That God's put a unique gift and strength set in your family that no other family has. It was just this thing the Lord started stirring up in us. Like, as an individual, there's no one on the planet like you. I pause for a minute because I think we don't believe that sometimes. We compare ourselves.
Constantly. Thanks to social media has even made it worse.
Totally. But just a reminder, there's no family like yours. There's no one like you, and there's no family like yours. And so there's a part of the wall in the kingdom of God that's actually yours to build. And in some cases, even rebuild. That it's being God's heart for forever. But he's looking for a family to pick it up and protect this part and fight for this part of the kingdom. And it's just such a beautiful picture, I think, that when we allow ourselves to get called out, to be distracted, to sit down, to get complacent, we're not actually living out our God-given purpose. And, there's careers, there's hardship, there's money problems, there's in-laws. There's
generational things going on.
The list just goes on and on and on of opportunities to get distracted. And lots of them feel justified and important. But it's really our job to kind of draw the line and say, what's taken this family 70 years? Watch what God can do in 52 when we set our eyes like flint.
Hey, it's Brittney here. I'm normally on the Kylo Show, yes, but I wrote a book. I wrote a book for parents, but I talk a lot about moms. So if you're listening to this and you're a mom who's frustrated, who feels like you're failing, who feels hopeless in this game of parenting that we're in. So if that's you, mom, buy yourself this gift on Mother's Day. It's going to be worth it. So I hope that you feel blessed and encouraged by my new book, Imperfect Parenting. You can find it at imperfectparenting.co.
And Nehemiah, they rebuilt the wall, and then the people that came back, that's the other thing, is that it created courage and change and shift. And, he just had, he had a relationship with the Lord, and he had a conviction to what he was meant to do. And then he carried this courage that became contagious. And so that was all part of the last night was, if we can be courageous and live intentionally towards our family for 52 days, what will happen to those that are watching? And again, I don't know what the assignment within the 52 days. I led it and kind of giving prompts, but it was more so just to get your attention back on it. Because something happens when we intentionally focus on, let's say, your health or your marriage or your job or your finances for, a significant amount of time. Change happens.
Yeah.
And it's, especially if you're trying to make momentum forward, you make momentum forward, even if it's small. Maybe it's not drastic, but you make a significant change when you intentionally focus your attention, resources, and time to something that you say is a priority. So my heart was, okay, let's do this together. And it was funny. I had a prophetic word probably the week or two before from a gal that I really admire and love. She came and spoke to our team, and she said, Brittney, I feel like you're going to have a spirit of revelation in the moment that's just going to come. And I'm like, cool. I don't know what that means, And I'm up on stage, and I had written down 52-day challenge as a maybe this is something I'll get to. Maybe, I don't really know. It's just kind of this almost footnote on the bottom of my presentation, on my slides and notes. And then it came out, and it just felt like, oh, that's what I'm doing. And so then everybody, all of the team were like, did you plan that? I said, nope, I didn't. They're like, what's your plan? I'm like, I don't know yet. Honestly, I don't really know. But there was something on it, and I made a big deal of it because I felt like the Lord was leaning into this. And
you had people stand up to commit.
I did. And then I was like, okay, well, now we get to walk this out, which I have faithfully done.
Yep.
But it is, it's, I think the fun thing too is hearing all the testimonies, especially through social media, because that's how people communicate with me on those things, is just a little bit of change that they made and the impact and how valuable it's been. And the little bit of focus, again, I wasn't looking for, okay, every day you need to set aside an hour of dedication to this and meditate on that. I mean, I'm making less than a minute video on it and giving you some different things, which I did. I split it up into kind of 3 little segments, but I'm looking for you to just go, oh, that's right. I'm resetting my gaze. I'm refocusing my attention so that I can walk away every day for 52 days and say, I intentionally did. I intentionally did. And even if it was for 30 minutes, 30 seconds, I think just that encouraging people to refocus, that was the heart of it.
Yep.
And it's been fun.
So awesome. One of the people that went through it with you, he was at the conference, and he would text me weekly as he would finish a chapter.
Yep.
And he's just so fired up, but at the same time, he was so convicted, which was just fun to watch. That he's doing this. He's setting his gaze just in a new way, a new level on his family and what he's called to. And he's realizing, I've had some of this wrong. I've believed certain things that took me astray. I've let certain things create the wrong momentum in the wrong way. And following someone with courage who's willing to stand up and say, this is what we're doing. We're not listening to this anymore. The Sanballat and Tobias, I forget his name right now. But, there's things looking to distract us, and we're no longer letting that thing win. And so just watching this guy's text come through, and he has a whiteboard, and he's whiteboarding out what he's learning from the chapter and the challenge. And I think there's lots of people out there that we don't know till we get presented a new opportunity to learn something different. And it's so encouraging. I think, honey, you've done a great job.
Well, thanks.
So it's working.
And I mean, again, if you didn't get in on the 52 days, it's there on Instagram. Just an easy, quick thing. I broke it up to try and keep it from becoming kind of the same mundane thing. So the first one was really chasing after some activations and some beliefs, kind of some helpful tools, practical, I would say, then I went more into some prayers, like what are you praying over your family, different aspects of family and as a whole, culture, finances. I mean, you're just going after different prayer points. And then I had scriptures that I felt kind of aligned with it, and then ended with declarations and really just kind of speaking over yourself as a parent, your children, you're saying your children's names. Again, the whole point was we're just changing our focus and bringing intentionality back into focus. It was a lot of fun. It was, I think every time that I get the opportunity to do this, which, if you're interested in doing an Imperfect Parenting conference, I don't know that it'll look like mine, but it'll be, if you invite Ben and I out, we'd love to come and do an event and kind of put some strategy around, this call, this encouragement. And, that's my heart is I want families to enjoy each other. Yeah. And I think we get to win when we live in this place of joy and confidence and conviction. And I look at, I think I was talking to I don't know who I was talking to. Maybe I was talking with you, but maybe it was my mom. I was just talking about my brothers.
We get confused all the time.
And you, my mom, yeah. I don't remember who I was having this conversation with, but I was just laughing thinking about my childhood versus our kids. And I love my brothers. We were fairly close. I wouldn't say that we had crazy fighting or anything like that. But what our kids are, how close they all are, feels significantly different than what I had. I don't know about you.
Same.
And I just love that. They genuinely love each other. They enjoy each other. They have fun together. And we've worked really hard as leading in that we enjoy you as our children. We want to be around you. We have worked really hard to give you that feedback of when it's not fun to be around. And we've called you to a different standard. I mean, we just had a hard conversation with Lincoln the other day of calling him to a different standard, and using language that you and I both use. What did you hear me say? So we're not, we don't dumb down the goal for our kids. We actually teach them how to come to the standard that we're trying to live at. Yep. And obviously it's a process because a 2-year-old looks a little different than a 12-year-old, but, that's the heart for families is lean into enjoying, your family that God gave you.
And I would just add too, based on what you were saying earlier, I think part of the heart of loving on purpose as a whole, and then what you're talking about here with imperfect parenting, is we actually begin to see communities come together and raised up, that this becomes a conversation. We got invited to a church where they asked us to speak about parenting on a Sunday morning.
I love it.
And it's rare because
I've never.
Well, very rare.
I told my friend this. She's like, on a Sunday morning? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that is amazing.
Yeah. But just the conversation of this is the most important call we have. And, I think we're both pretty driven people. We want to see things happen. We have dreams in our heart. And the most important thing we can do is go home and love our family. So I think just looking for the opportunities, being able to build a community around us. And that's our encouragement. That's our heart. That's why we do so much of what we do, is these little communities start to pop up all over the world where we're saying we are going the same direction and we're protecting the same thing. Yeah. And when you get off the tracks, we're here to help you get back on.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want in on the 52-day challenge, it's still there. I would invite you to jump in and be challenged.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
All right. See you in 52 days. I'm kidding. Not true. Next week. Bye.